Let's go. Ooh.
Hello. We are.
Yeah,
What?
go ahead.
What's that about? Hello.
Hello.
Hello. We are Geeks Assemble. No, she's not going to. She's not going to do it again. No. Right, we are Geeks Assemble, and today let's have a spoon. Let's have a spoonful of sugar to make that medicine go down, shall we? We are discussing the sequel to the 1960s movie Mary Poppins. We are talking Mary Poppins Returns, which came out in about 28.
Yeah.
Should I say? Was I waiting for a sequel, or did it come at the right time? Is it as good as the original? We shall see. So we're going to go over to Susan for our opening thoughts on her take on Emily Blunt as Mary Poppins. Over to you, Susan.
Well, hello. And I'm really glad that we are doing a Mary Poppins weekend. Partially because that, according to Doctor Who, she is Missy and therefore a Time Lord. The other theory is that Missy has just been cloned from Mary Poppins and therefore is bonkers. I don't know. Just that's another theory.
Folks, this is Susan's headcanon coming into play here.
Headcanons.
Take no notice of her.
Anyway, the response of the audience was it was pretty middle of the road, actually. Not as high. I don't know what it got on Rotten Tomatoes, but it's just kind of, a lot of people have like this writing in the middle somewhere, and I'm like, I tend to disagree, but I personally, I think honestly you can't beat Julie Andrews. There will be nobody ever who sings as good, looks as good, dances as good, is as happy, is as positive, is as rich as she, during times of turbulence, you look to Julie Andrews. You do. Even with her vocal problems and all those other things, those are just stabilities. The lady herself carries light and joy and is pushing that. It's like the chitty bang bang situation again. You just get someone who's almost there, almost. And Emily Blunt is almost there, almost. Which is helpful because Lin-Manuel Miranda is almost Cockney, kind of the same way that Dick Van Dyke was almost Cockney. Eddie Izzard says that's not Cockney. He says that's Australian. He sounds Australian, like Chimney throw another shrimp on the Barbie or something like that. But according to me, I think that those two did a really great job. It was pretty fun musical to do. The songs were they're pretty good songs. They weren't quite as catchy as the songs that were written for the original. I must say, I don't know if you could. It's like there's a sing-along version of this, but it's not the same kind of thing as the sing-along version of the original. It's not the same sort of energy. that you get with the original. I would venture to say that there is it's not quite as sparkly as the first one. But let me talk about the actual story. The story is that Jane and Michael are sister and brother living together, same house as before. Michael's gone to work for the bank with his father's briefcase in his hand and his father's, blessing on his work. But the house is costing more and more. Like, you hear that story from the royals in the UK too, like how King Charles's all of his properties are just going up and up in cost, and not much in they don't bring in the same. But you can blame the pandemic on some of that. It's just not, it hasn't come back yet. Not all the way. It's long COVID, housing addition sort of thing. The other thing that's really interesting about this is the character is challenging Jane and Michael to trust them, but then towards the middle there is Jane and Michael to trust Michael's kids, Jane's nieces and nephews, but that's a struggle because of where it's falling in terms of time frame. I think the original story was set in the 1880s, 1870s. But this story, or maybe even the turn of the century, but this story seems like it was later in the 20s, and they obviously had not weathered the Great Depression yet, because they didn't have that kind of response. The response of people who've survived the Great Depression is usually things like they are only too happy to try and work things out with the bank. They're only too happy to put things down. They hoard their economic documents, and they scrimp and save, and they put money away, and then they aim low as in terms of all these things, but they hadn't survived that. You can obviously tell that. So like it's the late 20s. And
it says it's set during the Great Depression.
It isn't, though, because they're not hoarding the paperwork yet. They're not so focused on stuff that they lost, okay? I know people who lived through the Great Depression, and my grandmother saves every plastic bag that she ever used. And my grandmother also stores all of the food in the world in her refrigerator, so that there's these little bits of this and that and the other thing, just all these little bits that she can't bother throwing away. And due to some problems with letting those things sit too long, I learned from her to store food like that. But now I throw it away. I have to, because of certain things. But if you learn from people like that, you actually learn how to survive those downtimes. And it didn't seem like Michael had learned that, or Jane had learned that. They both would have learned that in the Great Depression. That's what it taught. It taught people how to survive those extremely lean times when there's just no way. You're going to run out of all this food. This is what we do. We hoard food. We keep it in a pantry that's open so that we know what we have at all times. People who are poor, working poor, or whatever, you learn how to survive this, and the Depression taught you that. And so I just think that they said it was in the Great Depression, but it really wasn't, because the lessons, man, the lessons were indelible. Okay, so and the songs were kind of catchy, but not earworms. They didn't go in and replace Chim Chimney, and they didn't replace a spoonful of sugar. They didn't replace those ones.
There wasn't even a Feed the Birds, was there?
There wasn't a Feed the Birds. There wasn't that sort of, yeah. And it was all about these Learys, and that's what they if you read the credits afterwards, they have all these people down as Learys, and I'm like, okay, so they're Learys, okay, but it's not the same thing. Anyway, the magic was there, the fun was there. Yeah, so timing is, I don't know. So those are my thoughts opening with this.
Well, thanks, Susan. Well, I've got to sort of agree with you on certain things here. The magic was there when she went into the fantasy world of under the sea, on the Royal Dalton Bowl with all the cartoon characters. Once the animation came, that was amazing. Disney do that so well. All the animals and everything like that. The dancing penguins. Yeah, there's just the magical spark wasn't there. I know Julie Andrews was asked to make an appearance in the movie as the balloon woman, but she turned it down, saying if she appeared in the movie, it would mostly take the limelight away from Emily Blunt. So, but it would have been nice if Disney, they had two opportunities where they could have had Julie Andrews just have a fleeting appearance. Once where Mary Poppins looks in the mirror, she could have been looking at the mirror and there was Julie Andrews. Or once where she looked into the balloon.
Oh yeah.
They could have done that. That's all it needed. Little nod to Julie Andrews.
That's right.
But I agree. Emily Blunt is brilliant. She can sing, but she's just not Julie Andrews. I mean, the acting in it is brilliant. As you say, he's definitely not a Cockney. I wonder if they did that on purpose. There's a nod to Dick Van Dyke, who appears later on as the character he played in the earlier movie.
Yes, that was priceless.
Yeah, but the songs, there's a couple of catchy songs, but as you said, they're not. There's no spoonful of sugar. There's no supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. No Feed the Birds. Can You Imagine That is a catchy song. And was it on the Royal Dalton Bowl song? Is quite catchy.
Yeah.
Um, and then with the Only Way Is Up with the balloons, that was just sort of a rewrite of Let's Go Fly a Kite, wasn't it?
It was.
Um, yeah, for me, it it took for the animation and the CGI to bring the magic into the movie. That's when the movie started for me.
Oh, yes.
You know, once they went into the world of fantasy. Um, yeah, great idea having the Banks children all grown up, coping without the mother and father because they've passed away. Um, but they've kept Helen on, who was in the original, but this time played by
Yeah.
Julie Walter. Uh, older this time. Um,
Yeah.
so that character was in the original one. And you also had a cameo from the original Jane from the original movie.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, she was the woman who came down the street asking for directions. I'm looking
Oh,
for number two. That was the original Jane from the
oh.
original movie. We couldn't have the original Michael because he died when he was only 21.
Yeah. Young. Poor
Um,
guy.
yeah, I mean, you've got Colin Firth in this.
I know. And he plays such a good baddie. Oh, my God.
Yeah, Barry. Yeah, no explanation why he was being bad, really.
No.
No explanation at all. This time we didn't have the chimney sweeps, we had the lamplighters,
Yeah. The Learys.
Larry's. I was a bit off put with all the bicycle stunts, to be honest. That was too modern. You know, all the BMX stunts they were doing. And I'm thinking, why is this in a movie? It's that's all that effect, all them stunts are too modern for that period of movie.
Mhm.
Uh,
Again, it was set strangely,
mm,
like like you, yeah,
but it, and also you had Admiral Boom,
yes.
played by the late great David Warner in
David
this one.
Warner. Oh my gosh, it was so good to see him on this.
And
Yeah.
this was his last film role before he passed.
Oh,
Yeah, so
oh, oh my gosh.
but yeah, Admiral Boom, he never got the timing right of his cannon. and and of course, because Julie Andrews turning the role down of the balloon lady, we got Angela
Angela
Lansbury,
Lansbury. Yeah.
which you can't argue with that.
No. And
And that,
you hear her voice and you're half tempted to see her as like a teapot because of how you know earworm the whole of Beauty and the Beast was
yeah,
for
yeah.
Angela Lansbury. You know, Angela Lansbury had her earworms too. And you know, that was in Beauty and the Beast. And they just that's super catchy. Oh my gosh. Okay.
And then we also had Meryl Streep
Oh yeah.
as Topsy.
That was cute.
Now, this is also harking back to the original movie with
Uncle Albert.
yes, where he was laughing and he was floating to the ceiling, and but this time Topsy,
Aunt Topsy.
yeah, everything turns upside down for her. And I'm thinking they're just they're just rewriting those scenes, aren't they?
Yeah.
But
Different
I mean,
kids though. You got to take the kids to see one of the weird family members. Mary Poppins Weird Family.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So fun. It was
It
so
must it
fun.
must have been. Oh look, Meryl Streep's in town, part in the movie. Yeah. You wouldn't expect Meryl Streep, but she was there. So, any favorite moments for you, or
Yeah, my favorite moments were when once they went into the bowl, once they got transported into the magic land. That was fun. Another one of my favorite moments was the time travel bit where they put the clock back in order to prevent the guy from the nephew of the bank owner's
stealing the house?
son. Yeah, his stealing their house. And you never got the real reason why he wanted to take it from him, except for the fact that he was a nasty man. That
Also,
Colin Firth.
also voiced the wolf as well in the animated section as well.
Yes, and so that was fun because the kids were having these quote unquote dreams, and they really and it really hammered it home that he was like a vicious guy.
But also as well with the grown up Michael and
Jane.
Jane, they totally disbelieved everything what happened to them when they were kids. They didn't believe any of this stuff. What happened with them with Mary Poppins?
Yeah, that was a little dismissive too.
Yeah.
You're right.
I'm I'm sorry, but you don't just dismiss that. I mean, what are they? So maybe 15 to 20 years older.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, the way Mary Poppins just appeared and all like this, and out of nowhere. I don't know. Yeah, I didn't get the rating of that.
Yeah.
So, anything
And
else?
the other thing was the other thing with those kids was that I mean they looked like Jane and Michael as kids. So I mean, like, they did nail that. That was some good casting. And the other thing was seeing Jeremy Swift in there as one of the bank lawyers.
Yeah.
And he kind of plays exactly the same kind of character in Ted Lasso. So I mean, that was kind of like there for the whole thing. Yeah, that was fun.
It was also good to hear Chris O'Dowd as Seamus the coachman, the dog, and Mark Addy
Oh,
as
Mark Addy,
as
yes.
the host.
Yes, Mark Addy was great. Oh my gosh. And we just reviewed another thing that he was in the new full Monty television show series. And so you should go and find that review, because we talk a little bit about how good he was.
Yeah, it's up there.
Especially with that kid. Oh my gosh, that was so fun. But David Warner as Admiral Boone. Yep. That was amazing. I thought that was really something. And
It was good to see Dick Van Dyke as well playing.
Yeah.
Was it playing Mr. Dawes Jr.?
Yes.
Or was it Mr. Dawes Senior? I can't remember which one it was.
No, the senior one had died right at the end of the first one, kind of.
Kind of, yeah. So yeah, it was a little cameo from Dick Van Dyke. It would have been nice if Julie Andrews had just said, "Yeah, okay." But if we got Angela Lansbury, so you can't complain with that. So anything
She
else?
literally, literally just add her to anything and she makes it gorgeous. I just
Yeah.
love her so much.
Another actress
Wow.
who we lost recently, though, so she's no longer with us as well. So we're losing all the greats.
Mm,
Such is life.
yes.
Anything else before we go final sense score?
Um, let me see.
I mean, for me, they tried to recapture the magicalness of the original, but it just wasn't there. There was just that little element just missing. Maybe it's because the songs weren't up to scratch.
Mark Shaman wrote the songs, wrote the music, and I don't know if he did as good a job as the two brothers who did it for the first one. But Mark Shaman wasn't also writing right in the next office from Walt Disney.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was something that was a bit special about that first movie. Was that, I mean, it was written in sort of an environment of magic, like everything that surrounded Disney at the time, everything was just magic, you know,
Yeah.
like world changing magic. And that's something, and but the visual effects were done by Cinesite and TD and Pipeline Infrastructure, and they were done by a lot of the greats, including Lucasfilm or excuse me, ILM.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, and the fact that every single house that they showed had a mansard roof. Okay, I gotta admit. Oh my God, he's gonna laugh. I loved it. I love those mansard roofs.
I was just wondering
Ah,
how long it would take you to mention those.
oh, it's freaking sweet, man. Mockingbird Lane or Cherry Tree Lane, excuse me, 17 Cherry Tree Lane, um, has a mansard roof, and it makes it gorgeous. The dormer windows, and then like the beautiful loop de loop. Oh, and the shallow top slope. Oh my gosh, it's just so much architectural poetry.
Yes, right.
Yes.
Go to final sense score before you just go off on another tangent.
Okay. I gotta tell you though, those things are gorgeous.
She's
They
insane.
are. I am insane. It's true.
Yes.
But Lin Manuel Lin-Manuel Noriega, he was they just did a production of In the Heights up in the city up there, Revere, Massachusetts, and they hadn't had a high school musical there for 30 years, and they decided to do one of his shows, In the Heights, and the and he ended up calling them and doing like a Zoom, like we do to do these podcasts with the whole of the musical theater troupe, um, for one of their morning rehearsals. I think personally that was so cool of him. And I you can't, he he is the nicest guy. He is so supportive of communities of color. He's so supportive of communities LGBTQIA plus people. He's so supportive of Hispanic power groups. He's just a fantastic fellow. And Hamilton is great. Hamilton has some catchy songs. If they would have gotten Lin-Manuel to write it, he would have written. I mean, this would have been a bit different, but oh my gosh, that would have been sweet. But anyway, okay. Just because he didn't write the songs and stuff, I'll give this a 9. I'll give this 9 peaky ladders out of 10. And those ladders did not look safe. Oh my gosh.
Especially going up Big Ben.
Especially going up Big Ben. I know, right? And so back over to you, Lee, before I go off on yet another tangent.
Yeah, the Spark. It's a fun movie. Don't get me wrong; it's a fun movie. The songs are catchy, but they're just not catchy enough like the originals. I'm going to give this 8.
Oh,
Dancing Penguin with 10. Yeah, it's just as I said earlier on. There's just that magical spark missing. Yeah, if they just added that little last ingredient, it could have been a 10 from me.
wow.
You never know. Yeah, so that's our review of Mary Poppins Returns. Yes, I have got it. I've got all the Disney stuff. You guys out there, if you've seen it, let us know what you think of this movie compared to the original, of course. Leave a comment below. We're on all social media feeds. We're on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Insta, and we may go on the threads. We never know yet.
Yeah.
We never know. And if you'd like to join us, sitting here talking rubbish, message me or message Susan, and then she could pass it on to me or whatever. Just leave a message on the video where you're watching the video on be it YouTube or Facebook or Twitter. Just leave us a message. All you need to be is 18 plus. I know this is a U for children, but we do sometimes do 18 rated stuff. So this is why it has to be 18 plus.
And sometimes the Mary Poppins that we're watching or listening to isn't the protagonist in this story, like Missy, like the master mistress Missy in Doctor Who. Looks like Mary Poppins, has kind of a Scottish version of Mary Poppins's voice, but is wackadoodle. Lolly. What is the word?
It's called Susan.
Oh, yes, that's right.
But yes, that shut her up, did it? But yeah, so you could be using a tablet or a PC, a laptop, or even your mobile phone. Camera and microphone is needed. We use Zoom, which is a brilliant app. So we was using Zoom before Zoom became famous.
True story.
We've been doing this about 7 to 8 years now. So yeah, so that's all you need to do. And oh yeah, if you do subscribe to our YouTube channel, make sure you press the bell notification button, and you'll know when we've put up a video. You see, a bell never works. It comes across when people watch it that there's this mad woman sat there hitting this bell, not making a sound.
Weird.
Yes. So that's it, folks. This year, this year, we're into July.
It's a fiscal year thing. Don't worry
Yeah,
about it.
yeah. Yeah,
You
so
were talking about the banks and the banks. Da, 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 da.
yeah. So yeah, today should I say, not this year. I don't know why I'm there. But anyways, I hope you enjoy what we do.
Mm,
Because we enjoy what we do.
mm.
It's just fun to sit down and chat rubbish or chats about stuff we like to watch, listen to, or whatever. We do
From the
have
sour groups.
we we do have several members who are AWOL,
Hmm.
been for about a year now. So,
Hmm.
but they sometimes do pop up every now and again. I mean, we did have Alid pop up about a month or so ago.
Yeah,
So
sure.
you never know. He may be back. You never know.
I
But we
thought
do.
I thought he would be sure to come on this one because I thought that this was one of those ones that he would love to talk about.
It's not frozen.
It isn't frozen. That's true.
But yeah. So if you want to join us and become a member of this happy-go-lucky band of lunatics, as you say, just get in touch with us. So that's it. I think, Susan, we've done everything.
Yep.
So until next time, who's going to sing Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious?
You said it.
Can you say it backwards?
Califragilisticus.
That's
Yeah.
it. That's your attempt. It don't matter. Let's move on. Let's go to the next one. See you later.